Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hello, we're at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Meritopica. This is FF episode 2910.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2910. It's Mike Matthews. Welcome to this podcast where I talk about things about this thing called life. And sometimes talk about my past, and sometimes talk about stuff that's going on that might happen in the future. And then I end the song, because I don't know. This is what I sing about in my podcast.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
There's lots of fine art in the video if you want to see it at facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike's
but it'll only be up
Daily
for 30 days.
Podcast.
Are you thinking
Yeah!
about going to a theme park as summer's wrapping up? While Disney parks are still the most visited theme parks in the world, with 142 million visitors globally in 2023, 142 million people last year, ticket prices and the cost burden of visiting a Disney park have been rising. And now there's all kinds of... I watched the Disney food blog video. It's one of the most watched Disney videos on YouTube. And there are a lot of videos on YouTube about Disney parks all the time. People have gone on and filmed all the rides. There are people that show up and they do a live broadcast on YouTube there at the park, and they're running around. And honestly, I've watched a lot of people walking around live at Disney Hollywood Studios. That looks like the last Disney park I would ever go to. It's like it's trying to be Universal Studios, but they don't actually film anything there. The whole point was when they opened it, it was the Disney MGM Studios was they were supposed to do that, do filming of some movies. They did one with Bette Midler there, but it looks just awful. And it's all concrete and asphalt. And in that...
And here's today's podcast picture.
In that Florida heat, how could you possibly deal with that? I'd rather be in the Disney Wild Animal Park, whatever it's called, with all the animals in Florida, because at least there's a lot of nature and trees all around you, and there's animals, and there's some rides there. There's that Yeti ride that looks okay. But gosh, I mean, to spend the money to get to Florida just to go to those parks does not appeal to me anymore in my almost 56 years. And the podcast picture is not of me. That was the last picture. And not of Basil. He was in a recent picture. The late, great Basil, the boxer. He had a lot to say that day. I think we'll go with another cool picture from my visit to the Heron Bay. Right there. It's a nice little walking trail near the bay. There's a bicycle path there. All kinds of people jogging and bicycling and walking, and some beautiful views of the bay. I was there recently. See that picture and all the other cool pictures at mikesdailypodcast.com. I needed to get to some water. And I know in California, you're generally close to some kind of water, although there were, not so much the further east you go, but I love being by the ocean. And I love being by lakes too. So I guess I'm happy anywhere there's some big body of water of some sort. Even in Alabama, when I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, there was a huge Tennessee River I'd like to go see and check out every once in a while and go, ooh.
This is interesting.
Wow, this is interesting.
Or Lake Gunnersville. Used to love to check that out as well. But this is interesting. So, travel continues. People are traveling all over, and it contributes a record what? There's several ones in this number. Let me see if I can do this. 11.1 trillion. Yes, $11.1 trillion have been spent this year, which breaks the records. A record 1 out of every $10 spent globally this year will be on travel as people briskly book hotels, cruises, and flights. I would have been going on a trip to...
Oh, Mike, you're such a creative soul.
Oh, thank you. I am trying to be slightly interesting and creative here, just letting these things come out into the podcast microphone and into the folks' ears. I was going to travel to New York with my lovely lady friend to see her mom. I've never met her mom. And then the whole thing of me being a manager got in the way, because apparently there's some personnel issues, other people taking trips, other people possibly leaving, just a bunch of chaos and upheaval is happening at my job right now. So I had to tell my lovely lady friend, we can't go right now. We can't. And she is patient enough, but it sucks. Now, meanwhile, I'm saving money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Because consumers increasingly see travel as an essential part of their budgets. Even concerns of a recession did not slow travel. Travel spending in the U.S. and Chinese and German economies, those are the most spending that happens, interestingly enough, in the U.S. and China and Germany. Travel supports nearly 348 million jobs. The total jobs in the U.S. was about 27 million jobs, the amount of jobs in the U.S. for travel. The industry is still hiring to fill jobs in the rapidly expanding field of travel. So there is
right?
that. I know. The U.S. Open recently handed out $75 million in prize money this year, the most ever awarded at a tennis tournament. And Toyota slashed its electric vehicle production plans by 30% as suppliers brace for impact. Toyota is notorious for its focus on hybrids. The Prius was the first mass-produced hybrid. And did you know that it went on sale in 1997? I thought they were so cool back then. The late 90s, I'm like, wait, what? It runs on electricity some of the time? This is amazing. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Meritopka at Café Anyway. Thank you for listening. Yes, let's see what other interesting thing. Young adults are opting out of parenthood because raising kids is expensive, and raising a child can be quite an investment. On average, it costs around $310,605 to raise a child from birth to the age of 17. 23% of millennials and Generation Z without children do not plan to become parents, primarily due to financial reasons.
It's pretty interesting,
isn't it? The U.S. fertility rate last year reached a historic low after inflation's wages are lower than their parents' earnings, but they are also carrying larger student loan balances as well. There's all of that involved, and Americans who pay for full-time childcare report a monthly cost of $631 on average per child. So, and all those expenses like housing, food, childcare, education, and other necessities. It's all expensive, but that doesn't even cover chowder, or college tuition. All that from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He is heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings, and then he's on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. Now, I got this interesting bit here, not from Rob, but from Newswire Media Outreach, talking about the Haunted Attractions Association, and they have certified the 50 top haunted attractions, the top haunts.
And the Oscar goes to
Mike Matthews for doing the most amazing podcast ever that no one listens to. I love it. You know, I've never, ever, ever gotten press for this podcast. Never gotten any sort of coverage on other podcasts. Never had any like video piece done on me or anything like that. But yet, what do I see all the time? I see podcasts talked about all the time on YouTube and television and radio, but it's always like the really young kids. Like this 9-year-old girl apparently won this NPR contest for schools and students doing podcasts. Well, she did
Revenge is a dish best served cold. You think about that.
She didn't do a podcast about revenge, although that would have been fun. No, she did it on a interesting thing, the story of her parents and her grandparents and how when they came to America, how difficult it was, and the country they left was in turmoil, etc. So a 9-year-old to do that, of course she got a little help from her dad, who helped her get the equipment and everything. But yes, very interesting. That, if I were a 9-year-old, I don't think I'd be as cynical as this. Hopefully I wouldn't be, but then maybe that would get me the press. But as far as it is, I am the most the person with the least potential. All right. I have the least amount of interest in me, let's just say. That's always been the case. I've always been half invisible to most of the people out there. It's just the way it is. I'm the invisible man. But here I am. Although I am somehow showing up on this video, and my voice is being heard in this radio. But I guess the Invisible Man was heard. You could hear him, you just couldn't see him. And that's how I am. But let's see here. Based on consumer index data and the what is it called? The Haunted Attraction Association, or the HAA. The world loves this time of year and is excited to attend haunted houses.
You want to join in on this conversation? You can join in. You can.
Someone did notice me. Wow, they want me to join in on the conversation. I got Rocky the Cat on my lap too outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in podCastro Valley. All right, let me finish this interesting sentence. The HAA president Spencer Terry of Fear Factory Haunted Attraction in Salt Lake City, Utah, said visitor safety will always be the number one priority of our industry, even before thrills and scares. The top haunt certification rewards those attractions that have been in operation for at least 10 years, meet a long list of criteria, and are not only leaders in delivering some of the best scares in the business, but also in setting the bar high for the best practices in safety and
live and loco
overall operations. Live and loco haunts near you. We're proud to see these attractions step up to meet the requirements of this national award, not only to be the best, but also to dedicate themselves to safety. Okay, let's see. What are they? There's a lot of them, is what they are. Let's see. Have I heard of some of these? Well, let me just tell you, most of these have either the word fear in them, or scream, or haunted, or fright. Let's see. There's Fright Nights, Frightland, Frightmare, Frightmare Farms, Haunted Scream Park. I've seen video of that on YouTube from Carpetbagger. That looked amazing. That's in Fulton, New York.
ridiculous random host.
These are ridiculous and random. There is there's hay rides, several hay rides. There's an asylum, the Penhurst Asylum, Reaper's Revenge, Spook Hollow. A lot of 13th floor Chicago, 13th, well, I guess this must be a chain, 13th floor. And then there's Terror, the Haunted Attraction Association, the only official association in the haunt industry, serves as the voice of the haunted attraction industry. Our mission is to promote our worldwide network of haunted attractions, including haunted houses, haunted hayrides, scream parks, mega haunts, Halloween festivals, haunted outdoor trails, home and charity haunts. So these are haunts somebody does in their own house. I've known of some of those. Back in the day, back when there was dial-up modems, corn mazes, can't forget the corn mazes, and amusement park Halloween events.
This isn't right! There's something wrong! Go!
Our goal is to protect our customers through education and networking of our members. And if you'd like to find out more, you can go to hauntedattractionsassociation.com for the complete list of all of these. Anything else jump out at me? There's, Creepy Hollow Haunted House. The Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. I think I've heard about that one in Akron, Ohio. That's amazing. I've seen video out. My cat just jumped off my lap and grabbed part of my headphone jack.
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
That was simply wonderful. Okay. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, look who's here. Hello, Michael Master. It's Madame Rootabega. All this that was very interesting. I love haunted houses. Ooh. Do you like Rocky the Cat? Yes. Do you like it when people scream in your face? Yes. Do you like those really, really bad actors that are at those haunted events, those haunts, and they like scream so much, but they do the same kind of weird, crazy thing, and it's just it's phoned in like that dial-up modem? No. Yeah, I don't either. Come on, commit to the part. Yeah, I don't even know how they do it. They scream so much at you, and they're just destroying their voices. I hope they're pacing themselves. Look who else is here. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the
Daily Podcast Master Pod Beater.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Mike, we'd like to perform for you our little scary play called CDs Are Not Used Anymore. Yeah, CDs aren't used anymore. Do you know that? Hey, I own a record store that's got a bunch of CDs, and nobody buys them because CDs aren't used anymore. Yeah, they're not used anymore. Do you know that? And end scene. End the scene. Do you know that? All right, the scene ended. The curtain comes down. That was fantastic. Yes, I watched that thing on Tower Records. The Birth and Death of Tower Records or whatever it's called. And David Grohl's in that, and there's all kinds of stuff about him and the baby mama and all that. And I do not know this whole story, but I'm sure you do by the time you hear this. But anyway, Café Anyway, because David Grohl did work at a Tower Records once upon a time, early on. But yes, they got into selling CDs early on and talked about how they charged way too much for CDs.
If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. There's nothing like a wounded animal.
Uh-oh. Don't shoot the record store owner. That's not good. Even though there's no more record stores. Apparently all the Tower Records are in Japan now, for some reason. There's about 40 of them or so. Or there was 10 years ago when this documentary came out. But yeah, interesting stuff. All right, we're wrapping this up. If you'd like to chime in about anything we covered today, here's the phone number. Chime away like a bunch of wind chimes. We'd love to hear from you.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640. Will you shut ups? Liberty Nation Freedom Foam for All.
The fact that they were correcting everything and not correcting with her.
When you look at the fact that they were correcting me on everything and not correcting her, it can mean only one of two things. Either they were biased against me, or I was just saying insane things that were wrong. Oh, God. Oh, is that it? Oh, no. Oh, did I say more factually untrue things? Oh, I owe a lot of people a lot of apologies.
How could he say anything untrue? The name of his social media company is called Truth Social. How could he possibly be lying to us in any way, shape, or form? It is interesting. Conspiracy theorists. There is this new website called defunctbot.com. If you want to find out if a certain theory is true or not, you can fact check it there. And the researchers behind that, I think from Cornell University, were one of the things they found were that certain people that believe conspiracy theories, or they believe outlandish conspiracy theories, the thing that is common about them is that they are very, very confident. they're so confident that they don't check, they don't have the critical thinking to check where the information is. They just accept, they go, oh, I heard it, it must be true. Because I certainly don't believe in anything that's false. Because I have so much confidence in myself that I don't make mistakes like that. So there's a lack of humility involved, apparently, for those people that really, really love conspiracy theories and believe them. But the thing is, you need to check and fact check. And apparently this defunctbot.com helps you with that. I have not checked that out yet. But they are finding that certain AI can chatbot, they use like a chatbot, but AI can certainly start the process of peeling back all the lies and getting to the truth of the heart of the matter of certain things. So that's fascinating stuff. And with all the other fascinating stuff concerning this podcast, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!